So this video is supposed to go over how much energy AI uses to create a text prompt.
On the surging demand for energy in the U.S. It's growing significantly for the first time in decades. Experts say it's forecast to hit record highs both this year and next, straining the nation's aging power grid and creating more planet-warming emissions. A big part of the demand is from a growing number of data centers across the nation. And listen to this, from the rise of artificial intelligence. Senior national and environmental correspondent Ben Tracy traveled to Utah to learn about the race to find enough electricity to power.
So they are saying because of the rise of AI use, it's causing a shortage or a strain on electricity. I don't know if it's just in the US or period. And when they say AI, I'm not sure if they mean actual like chatbots, or are they just saying anything, like it could be a robot AI or
the future.
And these fans are cooling our data centers.
On a rooftop near Reno, Nevada, Amanda Peterson-Corio wanted us to see these whirling fans. They're cooling these endless rows of servers and miles of cable, the arteries of the internet inside a Google data center.
It's hard to imagine that there is a physical location where the internet lives, but this is it.
Is this everything from like some...
That is actually super funny to hear that it's a physical location where internet lives, because that's really something we never thought or imagined when we think about using the internet or our phones. We don't think about, where's this data center and what does it look like. We just simply use it and not even think about that at all.
Somebody's doing a Google search, somebody's watching a cat video, and that's all coming through here?
Absolutely. It's all that and more.
As the global head of data center energy, her job is to find more juice to keep the company's power-hungry machines humming. A single data center can use as much power as 80,000 U.S. homes.
It's going to take innovation.
And I don't know what they mean by 80,000 U.S. homes. Like, is that yearly? Like, what a U.S. home would use in a year and this cost at 80,000? What it would cost to run 80,000 U.S. homes? I'm not sure what that means. And I wonder, what does solar, how does that twine into all of this? Because we get a lot of energy from solar now. You have places like Las Vegas and California who's super big on solar fields. And are they reselling this energy to places like Google or data centers across the US, or are they only reselling it at a high price to homeowners and things of that sort?
To really think about how are we going to scale this faster to keep up with the pace of growth.
The nation's roughly 2,700 data centers are mostly run by big tech firms and consumed more than 4% of all electricity in the U.S. in...
Now that's an outrageous number. We're looking at only 5 companies: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple, which is like the top of each of their respected areas. But just those 5 companies consumed more than 4% of everybody in 2022. That's an outrageous number. That's a lot. 4% of all the energy in 1 year, just between 5 companies.
2022. That's projected to more than double to 9% by 2030. It's already taxing the nation's aging power grid, and the demands of artificial intelligence are just beginning to grow. A ChatGPT query uses nearly 10 times the electricity of a typical internet search.
Is this amount?
Wow. So to ask your chatbot or use Gemini or Grok or ChatGPT or any of these things, it costs 10 times as much as a normal internet search would as far as electricity. Now, with that being said, I don't know how much electricity is used for an internet search, but 10 times that's pretty outrageous. And then the fact that it said it was going to double what they used in 2022, in only 8 years they'll be expected to use 10% of all energy within the US. Well,
Amount of electricity used.
and is this going to raise the price of electricity because they're using the majority of it?
Sustainable.
It's a real challenge. As we look to the next decade, those demands continue to grow. And the real challenge is figuring out how we can do this in a way that meets our climate goals.
Google's planet warming emissions rose by 13% last year and have jumped nearly 50% since 2019. The company has invested heavily in wind and solar and says 64% of
Told you, solar. So Google is using solar.
the time its operations run on clean energy. But when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing, data centers still rely on dirty fossil fuels that contribute to climate change. So big tech is now scrambling to bring more clean power to the grid.
We can develop large projects that will really move the needle on the electric grid and climate change.
And then another question I have is, okay, their goal is to bring clean power, so they're not using more of fossil fuel to generate this electricity. Bravo for them for that. But at the same time, how is it still that you guys are finding ways to generate more electricity, but the amount that these companies are using is continuing to rise too? So not only are you using what you put in on the grid, you're also still using what you used to as well. And it's like shrinking. And I can only imagine what the price of electricity is going to be, like they said, by 2030.
Tim Latimer is CEO of Fervo Energy, which is partnering with Google to boost geothermal power, harnessing carbon-free heat from deep inside the earth.
How far down are you drilling here?
Right now we're at about 12,200 feet. And by the time we get there, the temperature is over 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right now, geothermal accounts for less than 1% of electricity in the U.S., but Fervo wants to change that.
How big of a solution can this be?
Yeah, we think that geothermal could be as much as 20% of the U.S. electricity.
Okay. And once again, that's amazing to hear. They finding other ways to generate this electricity. They found something that's only 1% of what's on the grid right now. Digging to the core of Earth to use this heat. I don't know how that's going to go. Not into understanding all of that. But him saying that they're going to raise it from 1% to 20%. But my question still is, when you raise it, that other 20%, and you start to use these for Google, is this going to make more room for, or give back the electricity you are already using? Or is it going to be that you just created plus what you can get from the normal ways of electricity, right? Because at this point, I'm only hearing them create new ways for their use and not necessarily all of humanity. And this is just the US as well.
Grid.
Google plans to use Fervo's geothermal power to help run its Nevada data centers and eventually others around the world, aiming to eliminate its use of coal and gas by 2030.
We need something that has that reliability that works.
What's up with this 2030 number? Why is everybody so stuck on 2030, man?
24/7 to get us all the way there.
So when the sun is not shining and the wind is not blowing, this thing's still cranking.
The earth is still hot.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Ben Tracy in Utah.
All right, so
We began, though,
let
with
me know
President
what y'all think about that there. So, I mean, they kind of gave me clickbait because they said it would be more so about how much energy AI is using in a text prompt. But all it told me, and it was a split second, was that it used 10 times as much as a normal search. I don't know how much a normal search costs in the first place, right? But what I did get from watching this video is realizing how much energy in general that the internet uses. And when I say internet, we're just looking at the top big companies like Amazon, Google, Apple, and those things. So Meta. So with this being said, I think my biggest question is there going to be a point to where it's a strain or it's a lack of energy for everyday Americans? And I'm not talking about to search an internet post, right? Because just as we see a rise for electricity use for data centers and AI, we also see that with electric cars becoming a big thing. So is this gonna become an issue by 2030? Right now, they putting a good spin on it, but will this be an issue by 2030? As far as how much internet we have, how much energy we have, and what the cost will be to get energy.